Everybody, what's going on? It's Mitch from We in Tennessee. In today's video, I want to reflect on almost 2 years being here in Tennessee and the 10 things that I have, I guess, solidified what is so different between California here and Tennessee. So today what I want to do is just cover so many different things in my 10 differences, from driving to just everything. So here we go. Number 10 would be how much they love their University of Tennessee football. I mean, back in California, I guess there were just so many colleges, in one concentrated area that you never really felt, the loyalty to just one, and so much passion. Out here, they are passionate about UT. I mean, we went to a restaurant just last night. They had softball on, they had baseball going on, just every type of UT sport. It's not just football, it's every UT sport. I mean, it's just crazy how much they are passionate about their school, sports, and just, being loyal to, the fan base. And so it's just crazy coming out here and just seeing that, because California, you really couldn't see just one loyalty to a school. There were so many schools, and then the passion just got watered down by everything else. It was probably pace of life too. People just didn't have time to be passionate about something like that. Sorry, California folks, but that's just the truth. Out here, it's just UT. Obviously, you see some other schools. In fact, you see some Alabamas and Georgias, but here it's UT, and every other school doesn't really matter. Coming in at number 9 would be, again, when you're driving, and you guys know I've done a lot of driving here. Back in California, when you're trying to make a left turn with oncoming traffic, we would just sneak into the middle. We would drive into the middle and wait for the oncoming traffic to go by, and we would make our turn. Here, I've noticed, and again, I've done a lot of driving, I rarely see that. Most times, they will stay behind the line to wait for the traffic to go by to make that left turn. And I actually like that. I like it a lot. In fact, I have basically made it my habit to stay behind the line. The reason I like it is because when I'm driving and I'm the oncoming traffic, I like to see that the car that wants to make the turn is behind the line. So that way, if the light changes, I don't have to freak out about hitting that person. I can know that the person, if I'm trying to just make that light, I know the person's just chilling back there behind the line and just will wait for their turn signal to go instead of having some kind of collision. And so that's interesting to the point where I noticed that, and I actually like it, and I think it's safer. Coming in at number 8 would be churches. There's churches everywhere. Every religion, Christian, Jehovah's Witness, Catholic, and then every kind of denomination, Presbyterian, Methodist, Baptist, non-denominational. Back in California, you would have to drive pretty far to just see as many churches as I see in like one block. And that's the cool thing. You think if there's so many churches, they would just, basically split the whole pot, and you would have these tiny churches everywhere. We have a lot of full, big churches that sit right next to each other. There's no such thing as competition. So, there's just the people go, and if you don't like a church, you go to another one, and you just have so many choices, and they're all pretty full. Coming in at number 7 would be the weather. In California, everything was so dry, this dry heat. Out here in Tennessee, it would be a very humid heat, and the weather just seems to change so often. And again, when you get this rain and thunder, back in California, I don't remember lots of rain and thunder. Man, the other night, it just was nonstop for like hours. And so when you come here to Tennessee, just expect the weather to be, especially here in East Tennessee, like I said in my last video, kind of like Hawaii. Everything's so green, rains a lot. In California, I know they've been getting a lot of rain this year, but on average, it's just so much rain here and everything's so green, which would thus bring out the bugs and everything else that goes with the humidity and water everywhere and just the rain. Coming in at number 6, well, you knew this was going to happen, would have to be the bugs. Back in California, no cicadas, no box elder bugs, very few wasps or hornets, and I guess it depends on where you live, but along with the weather comes the bugs. It just kind of goes hand in hand, and so you're just going to have to put up with these bugs bugging you, and so you're going to have to kind of change your mindset and not make it to the point where you're like, I can't stand it. I mean, it's only for a certain season, summer and spring. Winter, it's so cold that I hardly see any of them, and they don't really bother us. And so if you can just look at it at that side, saying, well, I only got to put up with them for a little bit, or you can be have some ingenuity and figure out ways to control the bugs, then you'll be okay. But I don't know if it's a deal breaker for everybody unless you just really have that kind of phobia about bugs. Coming in at number 5 would have to be the lawns. California, it was just so weird. I mean, it kind of depended on your situation, but the yards are so much smaller, and yet people were having people cut and mow your grass for you. Here in Tennessee, the lot sizes are like triple what they were in California, maybe even more, and people still want to do their own lawn. They take great pride in taking care of their lawn. So my philosophy out here is, if you see somebody's lawn is overgrown, they're either sick in the hospital, dead, or it's abandoned. Just people, no matter how old they are. I see 80, 90-year-olds getting on that riding lawnmower. I see, women high up in their age getting out there. So there's no limitation to keeping your lawn looking beautiful. So there's definitely a pride in making that lawn look as good as it can be. Why this is not number 1, I guess because it's not in any kind of particular order. But number 4 would just be what a lot of you already know is the 4 seasons. In California, it seemed like it would just be winter and summer. You never really saw the fall and the spring because it would just get super hot by like March. But here, the leaves turn beautiful colors, and you don't got to go very far. You get those cold, snowy winters like the one we just had. Right now, we're in a spring, and your allergies feel it. The beautiful flowers, trees, and then your summers are going to get real humid, hot, and it's just nice to know that all of those seasons are broken up instead of just overlapping like they did in California. Again, why this is not number 1, I don't know, but coming in at 3 is the conservative feel. In California, that's why we moved. We just hated everything being liberal, everything going woke, everything just going the opposite direction of everything that we believed. And then coming out here, man, it's just conservative, church-going folks that just, love God, love country. And so that's just the hugest part for us, is just being able to, be able to vote, be able to vote Republican, vote conservative, and have that be the majority instead of the very small minority back in California. You guys have heard me say this before. Number 2 would be the Mexican food. We love some of the places that we've come across, but again, there is not a plethora of Mexican food out here in East Tennessee that match what California had. And I'm not going to sit here and complain about it because you take the territory for what it's worth. But anyway, it's just something that you have to search out, you have to hunt for, and it's kind of like a rare diamond if you find a really good Mexican restaurant. But it makes you appreciate that Mexican food that you had in California, and you just appreciate when you can find a good place out here in East Tennessee, that you found a good place and it's a keeper. And so you take it for what it's worth, and you appreciate all the foods that you can come across, but definitely Mexican when you can fight it. And coming in at number one would definitely be Don't Be Offended, California People is the people. Here in Tennessee, man, it's just, again, I don't know if it's the conservative part about it, but you just feel the people loving on you. And again, it depends on where you are, where you live, who you hang around with. But just out here, it feels like you can go anywhere and just have people be willing to help you, give the shirt off their back, fix something for you, lend something to you, just do something for you without looking for some kind of ulterior motive. Like, I want money. I want you to do this for me if I do that for you. You know, out here, I don't want your money. I'd be offended if you offered me money. I'm just doing it because I'm a nice person. And so that's probably one of the hugest ones. Okay, guys, so I thought the perfect way to end this video would be I found myself going through Knoxville this week, so I just drove the freeways by there. So I thought, what better way to end this video to let you see a little bit of downtown Knoxville. Okay, guys, I am in my car headed south on the 275. I'm going to be going through the heart of Knoxville here. I'm taking this to hit up the 40. That will take me to the 129. That will take me back to Maryville. So if you notice along the way here, my camera is going to be bouncing up and down because the road has a little bit of issues, but you know, I'm just assuming the more cars that use this, the more torn up it's going to get. So it's just one of those beautiful days. We've had a lot of rain, so this is definitely a welcome sight to be able to drive and not have to have the windshield wipers going on 100 miles a minute, and just being able to see where I'm going and enjoy the greenery and the sunshine. So I'm going to be, as I make this curve, going to be seeing the sun sphere of Knoxville. And so I, decided to do a little bit of research because, before coming to Tennessee, I never really knew a whole lot about it. I've seen it, but it was first built in 1982 for the World's Fair. It has a 360-degree view of the Great Smoky Mountains, downtown. It's just really cool. If you want to visit it one day, it's $5 for adults. Kids 12 and under are $1 with that paying adult. It's open from 10 to 5 on the weekdays. What's really neat is, I didn't know this, it has the world's largest Rubik's Cube, and the Rubik's Cube was actually introduced at the 1982 World's Fair, so that's pretty cool. So just one of those neat things that's actually gold plated panels, 24 karat gold, so that was pretty cool. And so as I'm heading here, I'm going to be headed west on the 40. And what this does is hooks me up with the Alcoa Highway, the 129. You can see up there on the sign, I'm going to be headed towards Maryville, the McGee-Tyson Airport. And so this is just a real busy part of the day. It's about 4 o'clock, so I haven't really necessarily hit the major traffic here. I made a little oops right here. I actually got into the wrong lane, and no, you guys didn't see that, but I had to get over because I don't travel this way as much as I should, as you guys have just seen. So, and there's where I'm going to take the 129 towards the Smoky Mountains, the airport, and Maryville. It got really hot on my dashboard, so my camera's going to go out pretty soon. I got to figure out how to cover my phone or something to avoid getting this to shut off. But that was my quick little trip through Knoxville, headed back home to Maryville. So that was my quick little driving part right there. Hope you guys enjoyed it.